Hello guys, Omni here. We're picking back up with Batwoman this week with last night's episode. So if you haven't seen the episode for yourself, be sure to tune out because we're going to be going into some spoilers. So that's your last warning. Here we go. So the episode, I'm not going to touch on every little thing in this episode. There's a couple key things that I did want to talk about. One is how the last episode ended with Alice knocking Kate out. I think it's kind of funny that this episode pretty much opens with Kate, Luke, and them just kind of talking about what happened and how the wrong Beth died and all that crap. Just kind of reassuring Kate about her decision. But really, given how upset Alice was in that moment, she knocked Kate out. She had her completely at her disposal and just did nothing. Let her go. Ran away. I thought that was a little odd. I like how the villain in this episode, Nocturna, was an interesting little play here. I like the idea of it. I think they didn't expand on it enough in this episode, but for a one-off villain, maybe it might be one that comes back later. We'll see. I liked what they did here. The vampire aspect of it, very comic booky. Being a person who has this ultra sensitivity to sunlight, who is born with this skin sensitivity, as well as a liver disease that makes it impossible for her liver I believe that's right. It was like to filter her blood. So she has to ingest. It doesn't really go into how she actually takes it into her body. We assume because she's a vampire that she's, or she's playing up this vampire persona that it's to drink it, unless she has the know-how and the equipment to actually give herself blood transfusions. Everybody she's captured, she suspends them and drains their blood in these blood packets and then makes off with them. Maybe she hooks them up to a machine and gives them and just kind of cycles it into her blood. Maybe. It does explain that her grandfather, some kind of caretaker, I forget who it is, who had passed away recently, had been taking care of her up to this point, and it was these killings had only started up after she had to start fending for herself. And her motivation, of course, is like, well, they get to live normal lives. Well, I'm going to come and I'm going to prey on them because why can't I be normal? Just seemed like a little bit of a stretch. So I don't know. There's a lot of logistical aspects to how she ingests the blood that I was just like, it's whatever, comics. That's my explanation for it, and I'm okay with that. I like it, at least. I enjoyed it. I like how she gave herself prosthetic fangs that inject ketamine into people to paralyze them as a veterinary tranquilizer, which leads the little breadcrumbs for a certain somebody at the end of the episode to learn the identity of Batwoman, because in one of their scuffles, Batwoman got bit, and to try to because I guess back at the Batcave, they don't have the equipment they need to kind of to diagnose her blood, what got into her. So she makes the point to go to Mary's clinic, and you're like, cough, maybe I have the flu. Can you run a blood test? So as they test her blood, she's like, well, you got hit with some ketamine. What were you doing last night? And her stories get mixed up, and then she just plays it off and leaves. But later, Mary has a conversation with Sophie, because Sophie's been investigating Batwoman or trying to investigate on Nocturna and all this stuff. So she stalks to Kate's club because Kate tries to open her club early to bait Nocturna there, because she's been preying on vagabonds, straying away drunk from clubs or whatever, being baited away. Very vampiric like you would see in some modern day stuff like Blade and whatnot. So she's there playing that up, and she talks to Mary and lets slip that, Batwoman had to let Batwoman go because she got drugged up. She got attacked by Bit. And then at the end of the episode, Mary's like doing the math when it gets revealed at the end of the episode when they capture Nocturna and it's on the news how she was afflicting people and all this stuff was with ketamine. She like full on meme mode with the graphs and the geography and all that stuff in front of her face. And she's like, Kate's Batwoman. So we got that fantastic reveal in this. Other than that, I think the most interesting bits of this episode was seeing the change in dynamic between Alice and Kate. Because now that Alice knows that Alice had this delusion that she was the one threading the line. Mouse had been telling her that Kate has been getting into her head this entire time, but she wasn't listening. She was just baiting Kate more, trying to get them to reconcile and return as a family, even though Kate was doing the complete same thing for so long until it became clear that whatever's going on in Alice's head was just irreparable at that point. And it backfired in the long run when, of course, the realization came that Kate was not going to save her in the end and let her die. Alice can't cope with that. She can't reconcile with that. She cannot believe that her sister didn't choose her. And that's not clicking with her in this. So now we're seeing the opposite. Kate has, in this moment, completely given up on her. She even gives a speech to Alice at one point that she thinks that she now believes that every moment, everything that she did, everything that she sacrificed and put on the table to try to prove that there is good within Beth still and Alice still has been proven wrong, and that her drive, her attempt to do all of these things for that goal was stupid. Just straight to her face. It was like, it's all stupid. Trying to save you was stupid. Saving you in that river was stupid. I should have just let you die every one of those times because you're gone. You're not worth it. And it's just, it's not sinking in. Alice is like completely flipped on this one. So I'm curious to see how that dynamic plays in the long run, because they literally flipped the script on both of them as for what's going on. Now, Alice is trying to get into Kate's head and win her back. She's trying to prove that light, that need for Beth to still be in Alice is still there, that Kate is putting up, she believes that Kate's putting up this front, that she no longer believes there's hope for them to reconnect. So now she's the one trying to get through to Kate that there's good in her. So maybe by doing this, she'll self-therapy her way out of this situation, knowing that there was a better version of her that Kate did choose. I don't know. I'm curious to see how this is all going to pan out. And it even goes to the point where she puts Mary in danger because Nocturna ends up stalking Alice at one point, and she's like, why drink this low tier blood when you can have the cream of the crop, referencing the blood cure, the desert flower cure that's still technically floating around somehow comics in Mary's blood. So she basically puts Mary out to dry and sends Nocturna straight after her. And when Nocturna gets a hold of Mary, Alice even shows up to help Kate with Nocturna, and then in turn offers up her own blood because it is compatible with Mary's to give her enough blood back in her system to revitalize. In another attempt to play that mind game with Kate, that there's a chance that she didn't bet on the wrong Beth. And I like that dynamic, that now they're competing for the complete opposite teams here. Couple things that happened in the episode that were key to call out is some footage gets to Jacob. Jacob is also free. His trial ran out, and the evidence now that Mouse is missing has, guess, been substantial enough to allow them to come to the decision that he was framed for all of the stuff that he was being accused of. He gets out. He's back in charge of the Crows, and, some footage from the event where Sophie let Kate go and helped her earlier in the episode comes across his desk. And then because he's so, like, while he was away and the Crow's name has been dragged through the mud, they've been, the city's been in the hands of this masked vigilante while the Crows have just been just blundering their way through all of this stuff. Like, their street cred is completely trash. And he's like, we cannot be one up by this thing. So he's like, vendetta got hard on for going after Batwoman right now, and seeing Sophie helping her, no matter what her excuse was, gives her the ultimatum because he confronts her later in the episode about it, and she has to choose a side. He suspends her to come to that decision, but she's got to pick Batwoman or the Crows. At the end of the episode, she calls Batwoman in with the bat signal at the top of the station, and they have a conversation. She talks to her about how her job is important to her. It's all she ever knows, and she can't sacrifice that. But she still feels wrong for betraying Batwoman in this way, at least. And right before Kate starts to walk away, because Sophie still doesn't know that it is Kate, even though it's completely obvious, and by the end of this, she should have known, that she calls her back. She's like, wait, one more thing, and kisses her, and then they just start making out, and that's when the episode ends. The episode ends with Sophie and Batwoman making out, even though she has no idea it's Kate. Is Kate going to reveal to her that it's Kate at the end in the next episode, or is she going to get it from the kiss? I feel like you could probably get it from the kiss. The jawline, the kiss, it should trigger some memories. That's just how I think her brain should work. But I don't know. It all depends on how the writers go. Overall, I like this episode. I like the twists. Also forgot at the end of the episode, Alice has also been trying to figure out where Mouse went because he was supposed to rendezvous and he never showed up. As hospital's empty, her thugs managed to find out who the only people who checked in was, and it was this surgeon. And she's able to put 2 and 2 together and find and at least surmise that Mouse's father has made off with Mouse. So now she's in the loop on that, and now she knows the game is on. And also, another thing I forgot was at the beginning of the episode, they're in the Jacob and Sophie meet up in the morgue after he's freed from his trial at Beth's body, whom they think is their Beth. They think that it's Alice, but it's the one that Mouse's father sniped. It was Beth from the other Earth, the good one. Just seeing her like on the table, like Y section, everything, and it's just like, I don't know, it was so disheartening because, you know, I did get attached to her, even though I knew she was going to be gone. She wasn't going to be along for the show at all, but it's just another reminder that there was another path for Alice at one point. But, you know, now Alice gets this free pass at her own sacrifice. So we'll see how that goes. I like how the dynamic is shifting. I like how we're kind of veering off and changing course on who the main villain is, at least for now, with it pointing more towards Mouse's father. I can't ever remember his name right now, but I like it. I like what they've been doing with this. So what'd you guys think of the episode? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and we can carry on that conversation after the video. Thank you guys for supporting the channel and tuning in. I really appreciate it. Continue to support the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I'll catch you guys with the next episode of Batwoman. Take care, everybody.